What is going on, everybody? Non here. Apologize for the late video. I've had two really late hockey games, so a little tired. But I want to walk through a couple things, and the first of which, and I'll get to this in a little bit. I'm looking for some help from the community here. We are in the process of beta testing and expected value calculation, specifically for Magic products. I think it's just about there, but it's free for anybody who wants to help out, mess around, provide feedback. Basically, go to ev.anontcg.com, sign in with Discord, and what happens is you need your access here. But to gain access, you can authorize. To gain access, you need to log into the non-TCG Discord. Click on this is right under general. Anon EV how to join, and it gives you a link to the Wattbot, which is what we use for all of our subscriptions. It's a month free trial. I had to set it up that way just to let people in. Discord and WAP effectively controls the access to the two different pieces. It is set to charge $12.99 when things go live a month from now. But quite honestly, just want people, if they'd be nice enough to do it, jump in, test things out. And there's a message board right here, Anon EV, where you can provide any general feedback, what looks good, what doesn't. And I'll do a video about this later. So we went live beta with it yesterday. We've worked out some bugs with access. We're focused on laptop, PC version. It does work on cell phones or on mobile devices. Not focused on that yet. So baby steps, but there's some really cool functionality here that I'll walk through later. So dashboard, here's your booster boxes. Here's your EV, pre-con decks. One of the things that we did, so Final Fantasy for the collector's edition, so we had to manually write every single one of these to pull the search foil, because the way that most APIs work, it doesn't necessarily pull the search foil. Now, for Modern Horizons 3, for the collector commanders, we don't quite have that yet. But yeah, there's some good stuff here. Let me just do one thing real quick, and then we'll get into the point of the video. So one thing I do want to mention for Spider-Man, just so you guys understand how this works. So this is the market price. This is the box expected value. What you can do is you can toggle low list versus market. I look at low list because if you want to sell, you want to liquidate, you want to put everything at low list. Here you have your different SIF floors, so it gives you some idea. But again, this is the collector boxes. Now, what I do want to mention, just very briefly, we have the SIF floor here, and the way the EV is calculated, it's calculated using a Monte Carlo simulation. Anything that's a magnitude of like a standard deviation or greater on the high end and the low end gets removed from the data set, and it gets smoothed by basically inserting the most frequently occurring card of that rarity. So that effectively, in the scenario, would remove your big boy Soulstone, and it would remove all the different Spider-Man. Now down here, it does give the box value, but it is not included in the expected value because, quite honestly, there's no expectations unless you're ripping hundreds and hundreds of boxes of getting those cards. But the reason we have it down here is if you are opening any set, this is a quick reference just to see what the top hits are so you know what to look for. And then down here, we just have the value of the cards. And this is super cool because it's mark price, it's sortable, low price, low plus shipping, direct low. This is the TCG player, direct low. And then you can sort by rare, common, mythic, uncommon. And then you can sort on all the different prices. So it's a pretty cool utility. Like I said, it's still in live beta here. So there are some bugs. Again, if you're interested, we'd be happy to have you guys take a look around and give some feedback. And if not, that's cool too. But at some point, it there will be some sort of a paywall to get into this. And then there's some other cool things here as well. You go to MTG Arbitrage. This is something we just kicked around. So, it gives you some arbitrage opportunity, or it's just reconciling Card Kingdom buy list to TCG player plus shipping cost to see what the profit is. Now, obviously, you have some timing things, etc. Again, this is just a cool idea that we thought about. And then here, upload collection. What you can do is you can upload your normal CSV, and it will price everything out based on. So this is basically TCG player format or the Mana Box format, and it will price out the buy list price for Card Kingdom. So there's a lot of things that we're going to get to, and we're going to add to this. But baby steps. We need to get this stuff working first, and go from there. So anyway, if you guys are interested, just jump into Discord. The instructions are here. So, and we'd obviously appreciate as much feedback as possible. And obviously, again, it's open beta. Things are going to break. Bear with us as we work through. We do have to kind of manage the load and of data and users and make sure that everything works smoothly before we go live. So I want to talk about. So Hasbro came out with their earnings today, and they were okay. Inventory build as expected. I do want to dig into them and start doing a video on the earnings every quarter, and start doing some projections, because it is relatively, I don't want to say simple, but it is possible to kind of break out all of the things that they report in their earnings. And one of the things they mentioned was one of the reasons why the Magic sales were good was because of, I forget what they called them, but it's basically prior releases. So that is all the Commander decks that they dumped on the market, the Final Fantasies, Duskmourn, Ixalan, Bloomburrow, that they dumped through distribution. But the margins are down, which is certainly a function of pushing volume to distribution that was supposed to go through Amazon. So we'll spend more time on that in a later video, but Avatar, they are now dumping Avatar. This was something that somebody sent me in Discord. This was yesterday. So play boxes are at $158.99. For those of you keeping score at home, the Lorwyn play boxes are $161. Now, granted, it's a set out, but there's not a whole lot of room here, because distribution price on this is between $120 and $125. I mean, obviously, if you're a massive store, you're getting a better price than that. But there aren't a whole lot of stores that are getting multiple pallets of this, because as they did with Spider-Man, they are going to try to sell as much of Avatar direct to consumer as possible. And if they have to cut these prices, it is going to be an epic, absolute bloodbath, because these guys can't get out of their own way. So Jumpstart $124. These boxes are $100 at distribution. So there's not a whole lot of margin here. And again, you guys can look at this and say, hey, it's $25, it's 25%. But every one of these booster boxes to ship is about $15. So I don't know if you guys have looked at shipping lately. Shipping locally, if I'm shipping anywhere on the East Coast, it's going to cost me like $12. If I ship to California, it's going to be like $16 to $18 for a booster box. I mean, the cost of this shit is through the roof. So, I mean, you're effectively making single-digit percentage points on these boxes at this price point. So I think a lot of people tend to lose the fact that that shipping does eat a ton of cost. And then just share on Amazon, they're dumping the shit out of Spider-Man. I mean, $140 is an upside down price if you paid distribution for it. They've had a couple dumps of collector boxes. Now here they're only 15 left in stock. I'm pretty sure they're talking about pallets in one of their many distribution centers. Avatar again, these are dump prices. Because if we look at Lorwyn, everything's listed effectively at MSRP. So you're $164.70, by the way, can't went up again. And then Turtles, here you have $209.70, which is the Universes Beyond MSRP, which I want to like the set. I just don't think it's going to happen. So now that we're getting dumps, and there's some folks that have pointed this out. Final Trade, who I'm a patron of, and I do enjoy his comment, even though it gets dry at times. But he's an engineer, so I forgive him. He mentioned that the Amazon dumps have started for the first time in 18 months, and I think it's because Wizards of the Coast is panicked. They had to put as much lipstick and dump as much as they could into Q3 to not miss the number, and Q4 they have a lot of wood to chop to get to where they need to get to, especially with Spider-Man being a disaster. And Avatar, quite honestly, looks like it's going to follow suit. And, they can't really dump Commander displays. Now we do have Tarkir coming. Tarkir play boxes are going to be soft. I know everybody likes them, but the EV in those boxes is absolute garbage. So the only thing they have going for them is Final Fantasy play boxes, which I would expect to see, selling through the holidays on here, direct to consumer, as much as they can. So this is their desperation to not have the stock get the shit kicked out of it. And this is what I've mentioned multiple times. The downside of being a public company is your management team, if they don't make this quarter, they may not be here next quarter. So they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about me. They don't give a shit about the value of any of our cards. They just give a shit about getting paid, hitting numbers, and fuck the world. So anyway, guys, would really appreciate if you check out the EV calculator. Again, bear with us. We are working through some bugs. So it's super functional, but we don't know what we don't know since we're still testing code and stuff. But look, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and hope to see you guys around.